Could this be the actual real Wright Flyer? This is absolutely amazing. Welcome, FGT community, and thank you for joining us for our new episode on our aviation adventures. Today, we're going to explore one of the top aviation museums in the world, the Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum in Washington, D.C. The National Air and Space Museum is one of the most iconic and engaging museums in Washington, D.C. The museum has an extraordinary collection of aviation and space artifacts that will leave everyone inspired by flight and will have you looking up in the sky as you walk out of the museum. And the best part? It's free. But there are some big changes in the air. Stay till the end and find out all about the changes. So without further ado, we present you the Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum. The museum is 3 stories tall, but the main exhibits are on the first and second floor. One quick tip is yes, the museum is free, but you do need to reserve online as the museum has timed entry passes. From the moment you walk into the museum, you are immersed in stunning air and space displays and murals. Every display inspires one to look up into the sky. Not only does this museum make you dream of flight, but it makes you think about the future. The first exhibit we will explore is the Wright Brothers exhibit. The first thing that catches your eyes is the Wright Flyer. Could this be the actual real Wright Flyer? This is absolutely amazing. Yes, this is truly the real 1903 Wright Flyer. This was the first plane to achieve power flight on that fateful December 17th, 1903 at Kitty Hawk. It is absolutely breathtaking and worth the trip alone. The next exhibit is Thomas W. Hayes, We All Fly. Thomas W. Hayes, We All Fly celebrates the extent and depth of general aviation and its deep impact on society. This exhibit is all about how general aviation has played an integral part in aviation. It is the first steps for anyone who wants to soar in the clouds, but GA is much more than that. Fun fact, balloons are a part of general aviation. This ultralight inspires me to get up into the sky. There are a lot of interactive displays here. They even have some funny displays such as Larry Walters' lawn chair from the infamous flying lawn chair in Los Angeles. And nothing could be crazier than Fulton Amphibian Display. The Cirrus SR-22, that became the first single-piston engine aircraft with a glass panel to be FAA certified. We can't forget about helicopters. Here's a beautiful Bell Model 47B. Also, we can't forget the future of GA, drones. The next exhibit we're going to explore is America by Air. America by Air traces the history of commercial aviation in the United States from airmail to airlines. This exhibit actually expands to both floors of the museum. There are a lot of interactive displays on the ground floor of this exhibit, while you have stunning beauties right over your head. Here is the cockpit of an A320 simulating a takeoff and landing at DCA. Here at AVGeek Travels, we are not financially compensated by any businesses referenced in our videos. So can you help us out by leaving a like? If we earn that subscription, hit subscribe and hit that notification button so you know when our future videos are released. If you'd like to help us spread the love of aviation, become a member of the channel. Memberships start out at 99 cents. Even the smallest donation will help us continue our mission to find and share the best aviation attractions out there. I love this bench of different seat sizes. Look at this beautiful front end of a Douglas DC-7. You actually get to step inside of this beauty. First, you get to see inside the cockpit. Then you get to see what the interior looked like in the era of luxury flight. They also had different engines on display. It's amazing to see the evolution of the engine through the years. I love the cutout models to show you what it looks like inside with the passengers. I love the fact that no matter where you look, aviation is everywhere, even in the bathrooms. Let's move on to our next exhibit, Early Flight. Between the first flights of the Wright brothers in 1903 and the outbreak of World War I in 1914, the airplane grew from an ancient dream into a reality that would shape the future. This exhibit reminds you that the Wright brothers just didn't end with their first flight, they built a company. And they had competition, like this 1912 Curtiss D3. Also examples of pushing the boundaries and innovation, like this 1911 Eckerd flying boat. And for you military plane lovers, this is a 1909 Wright military flyer, the first military airplane. At this point, my mind starts trailing off thinking about the F-22 and how far we have come in as little as 100 years. We will now head upstairs and explore the exhibits up on the second floor. Let's check out the Kenneth C. Griffin Explore the Planets exhibit. The Kenneth C. Griffin Explore the Planets gallery probes the science and history of our exploration of planets, moons, and other objects in our solar system. This is the development test model of the Voyager spacecraft. To know how far Voyager has gone, and it's still going, is mind-boggling. Here are the engineering test vehicles from JPL of the rovers we have sent to Mars. It's amazing to think we still have one rover cruising around on the red planet. I feel the need for speed. Let's check out the Nation of Speed exhibit. Nation of Speed recounts our desire to become the fastest on land, sea, air, and space in pursuits of commerce, power, and prestige. Let's start with the NASA X-43A scramjet. This plane got up to Mach 9.8, the fastest speed ever obtained by a jet engine. This is a Sonic Wind 1 rocket sled. Imagine being strapped to this and launched, hitting speeds at 632 miles per hour. And we can't talk about speed and not mention Richard Petty. Look at this Curtiss V8 motorcycle. Imagine getting this bike up to 136 miles per hour. Let's now check out our next exhibit, Destination Moon. The Destination Moon exhibit features iconic objects from the museum's unrivaled collection of Mercury, Gemini, and Apollo artifacts, including Alan Shepard's Mercury spacesuit and spacecraft, a Saturn V F1 engine, and Neil Armstrong's Apollo 11 spacesuit and command module Columbia. This rover would be so fun to drive. The lunar rover vehicle was a battery-powered dune buggy taken to the moon on Apollo's missions 15, 16, and 17. This is the actual spacesuit worn by Neil Armstrong when he stepped on the moon. This is the Apollo 11 command module Columbia. This was the living quarters for the first crewed lunar landing mission in July of 1969. The amount of space history in this exhibit is so amazing. Everywhere you turn, around every corner is another item, another tidbit, another tantalizing story about the space race. This is the F1 engine that powers the Saturn V rockets. The first stage of the Saturn V had 5 F1s for a total liftoff thrust of 7.5 million pounds. The F1 used RP1, a type of kerosene and liquid oxygen, as the propellants. This is a capsule for Gemini 7. Imagine being inside this capsule on top of a rocket. Destination Moon has so many items that we could do an episode on this exhibit alone. If this is something you would like to see, leave a comment below. Now, as we said earlier, America by Air exhibit is on both floors. Here we have a Douglas DC-3 and a beautiful Ford Tri-Motor. This is a Huff to Land Duster. This plane was the start of Delta Airlines. No visit to the National Air and Space Museum would be complete without exploring Northwest Boeing 747-100 cockpit. It is a little dark in here, but you could feel the aviation history in this queen. Here's another view of that tri-motor. They do have a planetarium here for your enjoyment. We showed you the Enterprise earlier, but for those Star Wars fans, we have an X-Wing with R2-D2. The last exhibit we will explore is One World Connected. One World Connected tells the story of how taking to the skies and the stars fosters two monumentous changes in everyday life, the ease in making connections across vast destinations, and a new perspective of Earth as humanity's home. This is all about how we are all part of this one world. The exhibit asks visitors to consider how global interconnections touch their lives and to imagine how advances in technology might impact our near future. You ever curious what it looks like looking at the Earth from the ISS? Here you go. A couple other things you don't want to miss is that if you're hungry, they have Mars Cafe on the lower level. And of course, you can't miss the gift shop. The National Air and Space Museum gift shop spans 3 floors, has everything you're looking for. Don't forget to take a picture with the Lego astronaut.
Would you like to take a plane spotting trip to Dulles? Do you want to get excellent rates for the Washington Dulles Airport Marriott? Do you want to read reviews from real travel vloggers and not just disgruntled customers? Here at AVGeek Travels, we teamed up with Planning.com to bring you a travel booking website by aviation enthusiasts for aviation enthusiasts. We are taking away the guesswork and the endless web searches on what rooms are the best for plane spotters, what are the best plane spotting hotels out there, and what aviation adventures you can get into. So, for your next plane spotting adventure, come check out our planning page. Every booking also helps the channel so we can find and review the best aviation locations out there. So, what are you waiting for? Click the link in the description below and happy spotting.
So what changes are in store for the museum? The museum's embarking on a renovation like none other. The renovation is an 8-year devotion of aviation love. This summer, the museum opened 5 new and reimagined exhibits. From Boeing milestones of flight to future in space, they are pushing the boundaries of an aviation museum. They will have more exhibits planned to open next summer, 2026. Should you go to the Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum? I think the question is when are you going? If you're an aviation lover, this museum should be at the top of your list. In our next episode, we'll take a break from the DC area and bring you all the sights and sounds of this year's Airliners International 2025 event. So hit that notification button to make sure you don't miss out on that video. Thank you for watching, and as always, happy spotting.